Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Return of the Archon with myself, the very lowest of men, and Drachon Rob of 6++, two of the top Archons in the UK. Here to give you some thoughts because we've just got started getting our teeth into Pariah Nexus and all the lovely foes that it has to offer with our Dark Kin. We were both at Sheffield Super Major this weekend, and we are checking in today with Rob's event report and findings. Rob, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, really well. Exhausted after a long weekend of 40k, trying to play a new mission and trying to have that mental load of it all.
Yes, it's definitely intensive. Some of the new missions really are. I'm sure obviously we'll get that across in here, but there's a lot of thinking involved, especially when all the macro strategy is quite new as well, right?
It is, yeah.
Amazing. Okay, well, let's dive straight into it. So, if we're thinking about the event itself, what were the sort of fundamentals for someone who needs to understand what Sheffield Super Major was about, Rob?
So it was using the new UKTC layout,
Mm-hmm.
which has moved a lot more towards kind of a GW style terrain
Yes.
set.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of big L's, staging, and safe places to deploy and move up and get ready to throw little murder elves from a very safe place, which is
Yeah.
which we like.
Yes, we do enjoy that. So if people want to listen to our previous 6+++ show where we talk about the UKTC pack in some depth, it's fair to say Rob and I were quite excited about the possibilities this creates. It's a lovely set of terrain pack sort of missions for a primary denial army, but also for drukhari players. The key thing is that you can hide raiders and transports all around these boards and also maneuver them from place to place really effectively, which just means the whole army, in particular Sky Splinter Assault, sings in a way that perhaps it was struggling to a little bit previously.
That's it, and I think as well, like it's a very stagey mission pack.
Yeah.
But there's also some great shooting angles if you have speed, which we have in buckets as well.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Drukhari perhaps quite uniquely placed to take advantage both of the combat potential, but also the opportunities afforded for the shooting. So, really, really nice. And as will hopefully be borne out here, a good hunting ground for the Dark Kin. Let's get into your games then. Oh no, we got the list first, of course. What did you take, Rob?
I took a very original list with 3 Archons. And with those Archons, there was a 10-man brick of Incubi, a 5-man brick of Incubi, and a Court of the Archon were making their first appearance since Sky
Yes.
Splinter came out for me.
Lovely.
I was running them a lot in real space raids, but I think with the staginess and the Fight First and Blood Angels, they just have a very good place in the lists again. Then I
Yeah,
had,
absolutely.
and around there it was a very standard list from before. It was Lilith with some witches, 20 Cabalites, 10 witches, 2 squads of Mandrakes, 4 Venoms, 2 Raiders, and 3 squads of Scourge, with 2 of them with Dark Lancers and 1 with Haywire. So
Yeah,
it's
very nice.
it's not as much trading as I usually have, but it's very much stage and hit very hard in your turn 2 or 3 when your opponent has to push.
Yeah, and this was something we'd actually discussed pre-event, wasn't it? And I think our feeling, or certainly my feeling in the discussions, was that the new missions, there's a risk if you play standoff and deny, there's a risk with the new missions that a late collapse or a secret mission or something can undo all that work that you've done.
Yeah.
So you need to establish yourself in a dominant enough position on the board, which means for drukhari that actually you need to make some significant swings in the game and do a lot of damage. Which obviously I'm biased towards that style of playing anyway, but we were both going to give that a go. And obviously this list is similar to one that Paulie Wallace has been using to great success as well. So there's people out there who've already been using different versions of this, and in our discussions with other Archons, we differ a little bit on exactly where to put the assets and what goes in what transport, etc. But I think this has all the right tools both to fight and shoot against a very wide range of armies.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd be interested at the end to get your thoughts on whether that mix worked or whether there's anything you'd change. But first off, we'll see how it did. So we're going to start with a very spicy opponent in round 1. Take us through this, Rob.
Yeah, so the one army I didn't want to play against, Sisters with Bringers of Flame. So the Sephram that move 21 inches and delete 3 units at will. The Castigators that move, it's up to 19 inches, I think, with an advance. It's terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. So this mission, it was Terraform, Swift Action, and Swift Sweeping Engagement. So this new staggered long board edge one. Against the Sisters list, there was all the big characters. There was the Triumph, Celestine, Val, one of the Flamer girl bricks with the jump packs, 2 Castigators, and a whole heap of mission play. I I was very nervous going into this one. It just does what Drukhari do a little bit better, effectively.
Yes.
With cheap dice.
Yes. Yeah, I always find against sisters the miracle dice just mean things like Scourge just have a terrible time.
Yeah.
Because like just that one wound too few gets through. And then you really struggle to turn even juiced up Scourge into tank killers, which makes it really difficult.
Yeah, your Dark Lancers do almost nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did the actual tempo of the game play out?
So I luckily went first.
Mm-hmm.
He deployed his Sephirim, so the jump pack Flamer Girls,
Mm-hmm.
right at the back of the board. But my Beast Pack, they moved 21 inches and made a 7-inch charge.
Nice.
So I managed to tag them. I killed all but 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I pushed on my left side where I had some Mandrakes forward deployed,
Mm-hmm.
killed some Dominions there, and then tagged a Castigator. So I locked down that left side with Mandrakes, and I locked him in his deployment zone so he couldn't put cheap chaff into the middle with a Beast Pack.
Yeah.
So
really
I was
nice.
very happy with the start of that. Then what else? I threw Lilith's squad on the left side as well. And just dumped her. Oh no, it was the court. I dumped the court on the left side, dumped a whole heap of OC with Fight First on that left side, and started Terraform turn 1, and managed the magical Terraform turn 1.
Oh, very well done.
So, into turn 2. So I locked down the left side and decided what I should be doing is just trade in the middle and try and hold out and keep scorecards and keep the endgame swing. It turns out that you can't do that with sisters. You can't if you're not scoring your cards, which I had some horrible cards, and I had a couple of unlucky dice rolls. I put 30 Incubi and an Archon into Val's unit. I had to get 7 wounds through. I got 6, and I got 6. They used a miracle dice, and then Val in return picked up the Incubi unit, the Archon, a Raider, and a Cabalite unit that was denying primary on that side.
Wow.
As a result. So there's a couple of big swings. Turn 1, my Haywire Scourge did 15 dev wounds to an Immolator, and he passed 5 feel no pain, so it survived on 1 wound. So there was some swingy bits. He played it really well, though. I can't put it down to dice or anything. He played it really well, and he just traded very well. And it's a patch up we really need to be not concerned, but we need to be versed in, and it's something we're definitely going to have to get some test games in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one I need to understand better. I've only played it once, and I lost a lot worse than you did here. It sounds like, for Terraform, getting one side locked down early and scoring is a really good position.
Yeah.
And you definitely use some of our momentum assets very effectively by the sounds of things. But then, obviously, as you say, when there's just a little bit more juice in the rules and the reach for the sisters, picking you off eventually, right?
Yeah, and I don't want to take anything away from my opponent. He just played it very well.
Yeah,
and he was very hungover, which was just a little knife in the back.
Very well done to them. Lovely comeback win. Okay, so that starts you off on a loss, but obviously into a meta menace, so no shame in that whatsoever. So what happens next?
It's time to submarine is what happened next. Round 2, I drew into Votan. This was Take and Hold, Hidden Supplies, and Search and Destroy, so corners and 6 objective markers. I decided to put, as a running theme, I had a Venom with Cabalites and a Venom with Incubi and Archon in Deep Strike, I think almost every game.
Yeah, it's very effective.
And in this mission, I decided not to forward deploy any Mandrakes because effectively I didn't want him to Armor of Contempt, get his Void Armor every turn, get his free CP. So I let him go there, let him have his scout moves. He got first turn. He came towards the forward to try and secure some primary, and my Scourge absolutely went off. My Scourge, so each Scourge, my 2 Darkland Scourge unit picked up a Sagittor each, and my Haywire unit did 9 wounds to a land fort.
Oh my word. Yeah, this can happen.
Yeah. And then the Beast Pack picked up what fell out of one of the Sagitors, and I put, I think, Witches into the other unit. So I picked up a whole heap of his scoring, locked down effectively the right side of the board, and had the Beast Pack set up as a screen in the middle so he couldn't actually move out effectively with the rest of his army. This was kind of one of those typical games you have against Votan, where if you get board control, you just screen out and the 10-man Terminators just never get to drop anywhere useful.
Hearthguards struggle to be effective into that sort of go wide,
Yeah, so it was just throwing throwing waves of units out and screening, and the 10-man incubi got a couple of multi-charges off and killed a whole heap. The court just went into the middle, and the Vector just meant he was spending copious amounts on Overwatch and Void Armor.
Yeah,
so it just stopped him from doing interesting things.
Yeah, it hurts them a lot. They've got a lovely suite of strats, but not if they all cost double.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you did well to not give him away an easy kill at the start in order to starve him even more.
Yeah, I think I gave it to him turn 2 with the Beast Pack, but to get that board control, it's worth giving him 3 CP.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm more than happy to do that.
As far as matchups go, it feels like one that I think was very peaky in the Real Space Raid days, but perhaps is now a lot more comfortable, but not without risk. I don't know how you feel about it.
It can be peaky because sometimes they just make their saves.
Yeah.
And your Scourge don't hit anything, and when you suddenly have 3 Sagators and a land fort in your deployment zone, it's not good times.
Yeah.
But I think we've got enough. Just if we do bounce, you just need to set up your screens. So throw out a 5-man idiot unit in front of their army. So if you do bounce, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Very nice. So storming win. So back on the hunt.
Yep.
And then going into round 3, our final game of the day, you hit another Meta Menace, your second of the day. It's the Blood Angels.
Blood Angels. And he was a teammate of my round 1 opponent. So he'd got the lowdown on how to beat me.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely guy. Absolutely lovely guy. It's one of my favourite games of the weekend.
Okay.
So this one was mission queue. So supply drop. So who knows where we're going to be scoring primary at the end of the game.
Oof, yeah.
Rapid escalation, which meant absolutely nothing because we didn't want to bring in battle line turn 1, because why would you? Because that would just die horribly. And sweeping engagement, so another staggered, very close deployment. His list was what you'd expect from a Blood Angels list, a whole heap of jump back infantry that punches really hard. So I deployed almost everything in the middle, except for some just cheap chaff units on the right side, just to deny primary. And I put Lilith squad and another chaff unit on the left side to go and try and hold that. And the rest of it was in the middle, just to react on what side was going to be at the end game.
Very nice.
This game, it was the quickest turn 1 from both of us I've ever seen. He moved some scouts up. He went first, moved some scouts up, did an action. My turn 1, I moved Lilith up, and I think it was some shooting on the other side, and cleared his scouts. And that was turn 1. I think it took a total of 7 minutes for both of us to play our turn 1.
Wow.
And all we did was stage in the big L's in the middle, and I was 23 inches away, so he could go for an 11-inch charge into my fight first unit.
Mm-hmm.
And he stayed a similar distance away from me, and we just looked at each other and said, whoever makes the first move loses. So really, it was just a trading game on the outside objectives to try and get some early primary. I think I managed to get some early primary, which helped a huge amount. Just with Lilith's high OC on the point with fights first, it was very hard for him to interact with.
Yeah.
And then it got to turn 3, and he realized he was out of position and started to push a little bit too late. A very weird thing happened with my Incubi unit in this game. So it started in the middle. It was just sitting there, getting ready to go out and punch something. Turn 4, it moved across to my right side in a hidden way, ready to hit the hidden supply drop. And turn 5 came around, and I realized he only had 10 OC on the point, and I moved the Raider up, and my Incubi hopped out and sat on the point and just did primary scoring. I didn't actually get to punch anything.
Just to deny unit. Beautiful.
So they just, it was a very expensive primary piece, just looking very menacingly for 5 turns.
Yeah, it's huge in that end game. If you're going second, though, as you say, like just winning the OC game's all that counts. It's very hard for the opponent to stop unless they've created a lot of problems. Yeah. And spoilers for when I do my event report, I literally do the exact same thing in my supply drop round 3. The Incubi brick moves right at the last minute, and the Incubi jump on to steal the point.
It was very tempting for me because I had assassinate in the last turn as well.
You're like, more points.
Like, if I go into that unit of 10 guys with a 5-up feel no pain and get through them and get the assassinate, I get 20 points and not 15. Should I do it? I didn't. I was a coward.
No, that would have been a disaster. So I'm glad that you didn't. So yeah, overall, how did you feel coming away from this about Blood Angels in general?
It's a very winnable game. There's some lists that I think we're really going to struggle in, but against this list where he had a mix of big units and small units, I felt quite okay because I could deny and I could sit back and choose when to push. Because he doesn't have many OC2 units, so he has to put something real in the middle if he wants to play the objective game. So
absolutely.
it did feel good, but yeah, there is some tweaks that I think for this matchup I think I'd like to make, because they are going to be everywhere for the next couple of months.
Yeah, I think they are going to be common. Hopefully, we'll discuss dealing with them in a future episode once we've worked that out a bit better ourselves.
Once we know ourselves.
Yeah. Okay, so that was Saturday. Obviously, we had a nice meal and chilled out and plotted our victories for the next day. What did you get Sunday morning?
I got a very mixed Iron Storm Marines list. Beautifully painted Crimson Fists. The mission was on Burden of Trust, prepare position, so free heroics and go to ground, which I actually used, I think, 2 or 3 times, and search and destroy on corners. His list was a mix of a bit of everything. It was mainly armor heavy. I went first in this game, and again, Beast Pack scouted up.
So good, isn't it?
I got Area Denial, one of them tagged just within 3 of the middle. The rest of them made sure that he couldn't leave his deployment zone with any of his vehicles.
Beautiful.
And that was, another very quick turn. I don't think I shot at anything that turn because he hit everything. When we were deploying, we made sure we were talking it all through and making sure that nothing silly was going to happen. So that was first turn. His first turn, he stayed fairly still because he was so scared of the clapback if he came forward. Because my shooting would pick stuff up, the Archon, the Incubi unit would pick things up. So we just killed the Beast Pack, pushed out onto the left, and in response, I stayed basically still on my right side and center, and threw the Court of the Archon on the left side, and they just sat on the objective. And over the course of 3 turns, they were absolute heroes. They fought off Redemptors, they fought off Land Raiders, they fought off Hellblasters, they fought off a Tech Marine. They died horribly in the end, but they died just slowly enough to deny primary.
They can be quite an impressive unit, can't they, at times? Yeah. And the lethals means that they can go and tangle with a surprisingly wide range of different units.
I took the biggest gamble I had. The Redemptor Dreadnought was down to 2 wounds, and I had no pain tokens. And I charged him with the core.
Wow, amazing.
I think it was an Urgul who got it was the Lamian took down a Redemptor Dreadnought.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Very powerful unit. We can see why Paulie likes it, for sure.
Yeah, so that was good fun. I think when we got to turn 3, we looked at the board state, we talked it through, and he's like, if I come forward, I dynamite, but if you don't come forward, you just lose. So he full sent, and I picked up about 1,200 points. It was just absolutely brutal.
Unbelievable.
It's just the space you can create with the Beast Pack.
That's the thing. It can be game defining. Yeah.
You just set the complete tempo, and you go, once this happens, I choose what I throw out.
Yeah.
You can kill that stuff. I don't really care. And there we go.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal unit for tempo control. And if you haven't tried one as a Drukhari player, I highly recommend it. It's really, really good.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Okay, well, you're in the 3-1 position. There's a tasty 4-1 in the offing. The whole team was hunting 4-1s at this point. Did you manage to hold up your side of the bargain, Rob?
I did.
Well done.
I drew Death Guard.
Yep.
There's a common theme between all these games. I went first. My Beast Pack absolutely launched itself towards some cultists, punched them really hard, screened his 10-man Plague Marines, and Carnivores from leaving his deployment zone for 2 turns effectively. And I just threw out shitty little screens to stop his Death Shroud from coming down anywhere useful, and Typhus. My Scourge again just absolutely went off and just picked up Predators and Plague Drones for fun. And something really funny happened. My Court had to go on the middle objective, which you would think would be a bad time, but because of the space it created with the Court, with the Beast Pack, they went into the middle objective turn 1. They stickied it, and I had nothing on the middle objective until turn 4, but I scored primary off it.
That's hilarious and amazing.
He just couldn't get units there.
Yeah, and this is the mobility issue for the Death Guard sometimes, isn't it? Really difficult.
When you tag and you pin them back, and then you just run away so they can't get there. their charge, slingshots.
Yeah, incredibly
And
powerful.
it really hurts them.
Yeah, and that's another wonderful thing about the court is the sticky contained within it, right? So it's not just Cabalites, you've got a melee shooting unit that also stickies points. It's really, really cool.
And the resilience you get. Like, I think I got hit by a Predator and something else, and I lost 2 Cabalites. And the -1 to wound is just absolutely massive.
Yeah, it throws people off every single time. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, another victory for blocking, tagging, sticking, and playing sneaky. By the sounds of it, really nicely done. Wonderful. Okay, so that puts you on 4-1 and a really, really solid placing. 27 out of 200 plus is pretty good.
I was stoked with that. I think I'd played 2 games of Pariah Nexus before this. And I was feeling very underprepared, but I think most people at the event were feeling very much the same.
Yeah, exactly. I think that baseline experience and the faction knowledge probably showed. So what are your sort of overall thoughts and feelings on Drukhari and Pariah coming out of the event?
They're absolutely amazing now.
I think so.
I think we are legitimately one of the top armies.
Yeah.
Sisters and Blood Angels are problems for us, and Hypercrypt Necrons who go shooting heavy.
Mm-hmm.
There are bad matchups, but I think everything else is a good matchup. We just create space, we deny primary, we kill things that want to score primary very, very well.
Yeah.
And it's going to be some very good hunting for the next couple of months. The things that I think in the list that we could improve, I felt like I was missing a couple of tech pieces to score cards. I think this is the lowest I've scored on secondaries since 10th has come out. So that just may be a couple of little list tweaks. Try and get 1 or 2 more units of just fast chaff in, or just even another unit of Cabalites, just as throwaway action monkeys, because there is a lot of actions now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something where obviously Pariah has been designed to make the secondary scoring harder, but as you say, there's still with the width of assets we can have, there's still probably a more smooth game plan for scoring that we still need to figure out at this stage, right? And exactly how many pieces we want to do that.
It's hard for us, but it's a lot harder for other factions, so we're in a very good position.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I think Vect, the new Vect, was absolutely clutch.
Oh, so good.
It's so good. I'm so glad we don't have it on 3 Archons as well.
That would have been completely insane.
Broken.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But it's incredibly powerful, right? At just a clutch moment in the game, you're tracking their CP spend. You're like, if he goes in now, there's nothing. There's nothing happening. It's
Someone's
really,
sitting
really
there
beautiful.
with Fight on Death or Overwatch, you just throw that Archon just 12 inches away, even if he's behind a wall. You're like, nope, you're not doing that one.
Yeah, super sneaky, proper sucker punch material. It's really, really good. And as far as the list goes, what are you thinking in terms of adapting for the next time?
I have about 20 different lists that I want to adapt, and they're all changing only about 200 points. So I'm dabbling with dropping the court. They were amazing in this event. But my biggest problem with them is they take 5 Cabalites out of my list, which could be action monkeys.
Yes.
So I think the most simple change would be dropping the court for another 5-man Incubi squad.
Yeah.
Other options are probably dropping a unit of Scourge.
Yep.
And bringing in more Cabalites.
Yeah. Cabalites, it's fair to say, are pretty nice in this meta, right?
They are absolutely amazing. They do a little bit of everything. They're not the best at everything, but they have OC2. They shoot relatively hard, and they can spike like crazy, especially in a Venom.
Yeah.
And they have grenades. They're just all around.
Grenades, good shooting, a tiny bit of combat.
They actually punch okay.
Yeah, if they've disembarked, they can finish off a Marine or 2. They are not terrible.
They can finish off a tank.
Yes, they can. Yes, they absolutely can. Yeah, so as I said, we both felt Cabalites were the all-stars at this event.
Yeah, definitely.
And they can find so many more nooks and crannies to operate in now on these new boards, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, and so to our fellow Drukhari players out there, you'd say it's a good time to play?
Yeah, get into it. Get it to events. Get them out if you haven't had them out recently. And they're just a lot of good fun.
Yeah,
it's you just get to do lots of things. The Russian doll thing. It's just fun.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's a fun techie little army that really suits Pariah Nexus and really, really suits UKTC terrain. So if you're a UK Drukhari player, get out, get hunting. It's a really good time.
Yes.
Right. Well, Rob, very, very well done. That's a fantastic run. Nice to get a solid 4-1 on your very first run out in Pariah Nexus. So I'm sure there'll be many more to come as we head towards the end of the season. Okay. So Thank you very much, everybody, for supporting us Archons, Drachons, etc. over here at 6 Plus. We massively appreciate you. We're going to have a bunch more content coming as we start figuring out the Drukhari, including some Drukhari 101 series and some how-tos and different things. So you can check that all out on YouTube, and there's a bunch of other 6 Plus content on there. Do hit like and subscribe on this video, leave us a comment, and obviously remember you can sign up as well to become a 6 Plus YouTube member for early access and coaching as well. If you're interested in some Drukhari coaching from Rob and myself, we can sort you out with that. And for everywhere, get in our Discord. We've got a thriving Discord. I think we're about to hit 400 members in there, very busy, and all sorts of Drukhari natterings going on in there. So come and join our various denizens as we plot our takeover of the entire world one step at a time. All right, we will say goodbye for now. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.